This is part, I don't know. This is part next. We have 14? I don't know. Wily Star. So, this is kind of an average run so far, and like I've been saying, you don't get your weapon energy back between stages. So this is what we're talking about. What do we need at the end of this stage? We want a lot of Jupiter. Jupiter is actually going to be indispensable as we get to into the refights. We want a lot of Pluto. There's a lot of stuff in here that's going to take a long time to kill, including more Pluto tanks. And we want to iframe through them like crazy. And we've got uses for Pluto. Venus, Mars, and Neptune have some use in here as well. They're going to take out some bosses. And that doesn't even touch on the refights, where we're going to get the teleporter room and need to have a lot of weapons. So, yeah. So right away, we're going to switch to Pluto because we've got some of the Jupiter Joes, which I feel like they changed their headpieces. Here again, like kind of using it to try and slide through the steamroller even. Everything you've expected. Just, again, you have no Pluto left. So be very careful with this for one very specific reason. And actually make sure you save a bit of it. You saw a little dash here that's going to get us through this. This is a branching path in the stage. There's a bottom path that exists, I think. We want to go up here. So jump on top of these deep digger blocks. Just make sure you don't get hit by the spark. I've never seen this frame of animation before. That's amazing. You don't actually have to throw it. You can just pause it immediately as soon as that block despawns. But I don't like the Joe. And then you switch back to Pluto. And I did see that right. Believe me, I think you think about going for that, but you also don't want to drop off of this ledge going for that drop. You want to get that drop. Be brave. So this room, lots of spikes. So you don't want to use Pluto in here. Shoot the Mets and keep going. I'm surprised I did not go back for that drop. I'm crazy. So here, 6 lemons to take out the crab. Save the weapon energy. Do this. Here comes a tank. By the way, if you game over before the teleporter room, you go back to the beginning of this section. If you go shopping anywhere in the Wily Star, you go back to the beginning of this section. So here's Anchor. If you played Dr. Wily's Revenge, he looks very familiar. Only takes damage to Buster. Does damage based on what you do to him. The only thing is you can't do damage while he's busting. Well, he's jumping. Busting. So again, we mentioned this a long time ago. The best DPS with the Buster is to use half charges. So we want to we want a 2-cycle Anchor. So you want to kind of stand here, get a good feel for the timing, and just fire a bunch of half charges in. And you can kind of see I'm switching to lemons here to try and just get that extra point of damage in. Full charge, both times he reaches the other side of the screen, get a full charge. That's 6 of your points of damage. The lemon at the end of that cycle is 7. That leaves him with 12 more hit points. So between the two sides of the room, you need to get in 6 half charges. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! So that's going to be what happens in Wily Star. We're going to get Mega Man killers plus the one that's not technically a Mega Man killer. Now, at the end of this drop, we get our one pair of scripted drops in the whole stage. When you get here, make sure you get 1 for Pluto. Obviously, I would say 1 for Jupiter, but I have a lot of Jupiter, so I got the 1 for Mars. When you're going down your depth chart here of what gets the drops, get Pluto, get Jupiter. Those are the 2 priorities. Then Mars, then Neptune. Then you kind of have to look around. Mercury's probably the next one that you would actually maybe be out of if you never got any back after Pluto stage. And you might need that drop. But that's like 5th on the depth chart, and everything else, even Venus right here. If you need another weapon at this point, something is wrong. Neptune, as expensive as Neptune is, there is a failsafe for the refights. Mars has a soft weakness you're going to probably take advantage of. So I did promise that there was a screen where you would use a Pluto dash and just slide like crazy. This is it. Ta-da! So Mars is what we're going to use on Quint, because we don't have crash bombs or hard knuckles, I guess. So you kind of want to get to here and kind of like Dark Moon, just jump in cycles and pummel Quint with missiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I missed one, so there's 6. The next section, we're going to use Pluto again, and Pluto lets us shoot lemons, and we, again, are tight on ammo here, so save the ammo, use that lemon. The first one of these drops was kind of long. You might have seen some side passages, but there's nothing there we really want. This is the shortest drop. So this one, just use Pluto once and slide. Slide! Like the penguin in Fight Club. Slide! One note here about all these platforms. If you get knocked onto these spikes by damage or something like that, you can't do a normal jump out. You have to figure out how to summon Rush and coil out of there. It's bad. This is another branching path. It's also worth noting, if you are planning to do Buster only of this game, this is the only point in the game where not Buster is required. So, right path. Bottom path exists. Go this way. There's an E-Tank if you want it. Have fun not getting hit on the spikes. We're just going through the screen. The last screen, you mostly need Pluto for the sort of nest enemy at the very end to get through it. This section here, just slide. Punk is going to be weak to salt water. You want to open this fight by kind of lobbing it out there. It's possible to get a double hit. I don't really understand how that one works. The screw attacks that he's throwing will deflect Neptune, as you saw. And again, Neptune is an expensive weapon, so be careful with it. You don't want to... Really, even this is too little Neptune to be useful in the refights. But whatever. So most of the other ones, you saw me walk off the ledge here, slide off the ledge, whatever we think is going to do it. This was a hop. Let's go through here, and some spikes are about to fly through the screen. Oh, we don't get to see them there. We get to see them there. Fun fact, if you get pushed by the spikes, but you don't actually push left or right, the spikes won't kill you. That's kind of weird. So that happens. Pluto is selected here mostly for the Buster feature. You do get to do a little dash in a couple of spots, although I think it's really just at the very end here. I didn't use any dashes, I just slid. Pluto is just to get the Buster out. So here's Ballad, our good friend from Mega Man 4 Game Boy. Mega Man 4 Game Boy players will know, I'm looking at you in chat, Mannix, Ballad can't body you if you stand on the left edge of the screen, because they didn't program Ballad very well. Mars and Venus both do a fair amount of damage to Ballad. The Buster even does a fair amount of damage if you're short on both for some reason. So given that Mars is in short supply at this point, just use the Venus bubbles, eat some lag, and go. Each one of these other side of the gates is a checkpoint, I'm pretty sure, by the way. Just again, the game over will take you back to the start. That's the one spike screen in this fall. Otherwise, it's like the rest. Make sure you're on the left side. And that's the Wily star. Have fun.